This is a video about automated watchlist scanners. The three watchlist scanners that will be discussed are the VWAP breakouts and reversals, the daily technicals, and the volume breakouts and medians. This video is also a recording from a stream. All the links related to the indicators are found in the info box under the video. You may contact me using the email on the screen. So the first one is the VWAP breakout. So this one will notify you every time there's a VWAP crossing. Every time there's a stock that crosses the VWAP, either the multi-day or the 1 minute VWAP, it will pop up over here. This refreshes every 3 to 7 minutes according to ThinkOrSwim. With this watch list, there you have the VWAP breakout column that comes with it, and that one notifies you when there is actually a crossing. So let's see, LUMN, we just got the 1 minute, and you can see over here on the chart we are now crossing the 1 minute VWAP for LUMN. We got it tagging over here. Like I said, this refreshes every now and then. Once it refreshed, then all the values are exact. Between refreshes, you'll see it pop between different colors and the tags. When the tags are there, that's when exactly the moment that we are crossing one of the VWAPs. The colors intensity is how close we are to the VWAP or the multi-day. Red is the 1 minute VWAP. When we're within 15 cents, that's when it starts populating colors. Blue is for multi-day, and red is for the 1 minute. When you have purple, that means we're close to both of them. So BBD right now, we are within 15 cents of both VWAPs, so that is why it is purple. The VWAP breakout also comes with the VWAP reversal, which gives you the VWAP crossings for all the stocks who have been under or over VWAP for 80% of the duration. So HWM right now is being tagged, so we're at VWAP, as we can see over here, and it's been mostly above VWAP all day. To know exactly how much, there is an indicator for that comes with it. This one, yeah. So 91% of the time today, HWM was above the VWAP. So the reversals are good to identify the stocks who are going to either follow the market when we're in a bullish market and the stock is mostly under VWAP. When it breaks that, you're monitoring for it to follow market. Today we're in a bit of a bullish, bearish market, just slightly. Qs have been trending a bit under VWAP. So another example that just popped up was WPRT, which, as you can see, it's been mostly above VWAP. We've been over VWAP 88% of the time today. So it's either 80% above or 80% underneath. And this refreshes every 3 to 7 minutes, just like every other scan list for TOS. So this one, okay, so this one has 11%, so that means that it's been under VWAP for 89% of the day. So the further the day, usually most in the afternoon, that's when you start looking at the reversals to see when it's going to break VWAP. There is also, that comes with the VWAP reversal package, the VWAP day negative and the VWAP day positive. I'll do positive first because we're a bit bearish, like I said. So that means that these are all stocks that have been above VWAP for 95% of the day. The percentage is modifiable in the scan code, which is easy to identify. So as you can see, plug has been above VWAP for 97% of the day. These are good to monitor when we're in strong bullish or strong bearish markets, so you have an idea of what's coming up. You can monitor those on a different chart. They will still pop up on the reversals when they happen, because the reversals are at 80%, whereas the day positive and day negative is at 95% of the time. We can check and look at a few macro over here. So this shows you everything that is currently above VWAP for 80% for 95% of the day. Here is Mara as a sample at 97%. On the top right, there's a small indicator that tells you 97. I go down the list. FEYE is 100% above VWAP, and if we look at the chart, it started above VWAP the whole day. And then there's negative. FEYE, we're at 100% from the tag on top over here. That tells you how much we are above. And the blue line on the chart is the VWAP. And let's look at some negative VWAPs, or mostly negative. Apple has been under VWAP the whole day. So we have on the tag is written 0%. And as you can see, the blue is over here, and as soon as Apple opened up today, it just dropped down to the -3 offset of the band and been under review up the whole day. So if, for example, the Qs would explode all the way up, then we'd expect Apple to follow the Qs at some point, and you could use the VWAP reversals to let you know when it actually happens. Let's look at another one. BB has been under the VWAP for 96% of the time. As you can see, it was barely over the VWAP for the first part of the day, and after that it's been under VWAP the whole day. So quick summary for the VWAP breakouts. You have the VWAP breakout, which tells you every time the stock crosses the VWAP, it will be populated over here. You have the column VWAP breakout that tells you when the price is currently crossing either the multi-day or the 1 minute. The colors indicate how close we are to either VWAPs. Blue is multi-day, red is VWAP, the 1 minute, and purple means we're close to both of them. So SHO is a $11 stock, and both VWAPs are within 2 cents of it, so that's why we have it as purple on the indicator. Then there's the VWAP positive, VWAP day positive, which gives you all the stocks that are above VWAP for 95% of the day. Plug, for example, at 97. Then there's the VWAP negative, which gives you all the stocks that are mostly under VWAP at 95% of the day or more. The tag only tells you when it is actually above VWAP. So 0% means 100% under VWAP. Then you have VWAP reversals, which is a combination of positive and negative, but set at 20% instead of ±5%, which gives you a smaller list that refreshes more often. As you can see over here, EA, we've been above VWAP for 95% of the day, and we just tagged the VWAP. So that is why we had it on the VWAP reversal. Other lists, other watch lists would include, let's say, the daily technicals, which is a different watch list that tells you all the stocks that are crossing one of the daily technicals. So daily technicals would be the open, the morning low, the morning high, which is the within the first 15 minutes. That is customizable in the code if you want to. It also gives you the lows of yesterday, the highs of yesterday, and the close of yesterday. So on this chart over here, red is the close from yesterday. Purple, the two purples, kind of wine purple, are the yesterday's highs and yesterday's lows. The three greens, I'll go to QQQ. So you have three greens on QQQ. One tells you the open, one tells you the morning high, and one tells you the morning low. So morning lows and highs are generated after 15 minutes. As we see this one here, it's been generated after 15 minutes of the day. They are often used as support or resistance. So there is actually a watch list scanner that can give you those settings. So it's a daily technicals breakouts. It is currently by default set to open, close, I think morning highs and morning lows. I cannot program all of them or else it will never populate and give errors for the script being too complex. It is customizable. All the code is there for morning highs, morning lows, yesterday's highs and lows. All that is in the code that you can uncomment if you want to have, let's say, only the breakouts for the open. That's possible. Just comment the other lines out. So let's go to KO, Coca-Cola. So as you can see, once the chart loads, you see it's currently crossing the morning low. And once the watch list finished populating the last column over here, we should see up the morning lows appearing over here. Let's do another one, ACB. We just crossed the open of today downwards. See over here, I'll just zoom in a little bit more. This candle over here just crossed the open. So this one is crossing the morning lows, or had the candle. So now they're starting to populate the columns on watch lists that are not automatically refreshed, like the bottom one over here, which is the earnings from the pre-market and yesterday's aftermarket. They will pop up more often because it has less things to populate, to refresh every single time. So you can see here it starts to populate the morning lows, opens, the highs. Here's one for yesterday's close. So D just crossed the yesterday's close. So over here, the red line over here. So this is good. This column is good information when you're using static lists or just automated scan lists. They will pop up. I tend to leave it on VWAP breakouts. So I'm more interested on VWAP breaks than on morning lows or morning highs. The bottom is the earnings before today, which are all the earnings from yesterday's aftermarket and this morning. You can also select today's aftermarket, so it will populate the stocks for tonight. Then there's tomorrow pre-market. That's a different list. There's before today, that's pre-market this morning and aftermarket yesterday. And you also have the past few days. So by default, it's the last 5 days of earnings. All the stocks will be over here. So we have BB over here that had earnings on the 17th. We have FTX that had earnings on the 17th. RAD on the 17th. LEN on the 16th. So it gives you past 5 days of earnings. So if you there's still an active stocks in the news, I prefer leaving it to the one of this morning and yesterday's aftermarket. I can always do some customizables. These are very easy to code. So here's one that had a bit of blue and went black. So we just crossed like more than 15 cents away from the multi-day. So here we just got a notification that SCHL is crossing the multi-day. And see the purple line over here? That's it. That's a weird stock. Okay. Here's a tag for easy PW that is currently crossing the morning high. So you can, right over here, we can barely see it. So the 3 columns give you a good idea of what's happening. The first one is the volume median. So that is the median of the volume for the past few days. It gives me an idea of comparing the volumes between what we're expecting to have in a normal day and what we're having today. So as you can see in BB over here, we have 34 million shares traded today, and it's 2 p.m. We're not even done, and usually it trades 5 million or around 4.9 million shares a day. So it can give you what is being very active or not. Green means we are above the expected of the day. The expected of the day is calculated using the median and using the morning spike. Over here you have the volume on the shade at the bottom of the chart. Red and green shades are when we're more than 50% of the highest volume spike of the day up to that point. And you have a different gray shade. Lighter shade is for 25%, and darker shade is less than 25% volume. The times of the day that you usually have more than 50% volumes are closer to the end of the day, after 2:30. So this one, you see there was a few spikes of volume throughout the day in the morning. So you have 2 green spikes over here, one at 10:35 and one at 10:44. So this was 50% of the volume of the morning, because the morning had the highest spike so far. It seems to have gone to around here. So we passed this height, half of this height with the volume. So you see it over here, these 2 spikes. It's just a background shade. I prefer having those than the normal volume bars. There's actually scans for the volume breakouts. So a volume breakout, there's 2 of them. Volume breakout day. At this time of day, I'm not sure if there is any. Let's try it. If there is no volume breakouts, it won't show any stocks. Okay, so we don't have any volume. So these will pop up more often in the late afternoon, which are good if you're a volume trader. Those are good watch lists to have.
What do you primarily use it?
I primarily use the VWAP breakouts, which tells me if I actually want to trade now, I will look at the VWAP breakouts and the VWAP reversals. So these get populated every time there's a VWAP break. So BTU, for example, had the breakout on the 1-minute VWAP. So if I want to trade now, I can look at these 2 lists and then get the possible trades. So now we got space on top that just populated. When it just populates, those are the closest ones.
Because it's breaking down, right?
It's either break up or break down. It's when it crosses the VWAP.
So it's when it's across. Is it gonna signal you that for every time it crosses? Because if you're like on a 1 minute chart, it could go back and forth, and yeah, every time the scan refreshes, it's gonna keep popping that. Even if it's
Yes,
just
every
trading
time
like
it
range around
refreshes,
the.
it tells you either the 1 minute. For the VWAP breakout, it's either 1 minute or multi-day. So LUMN, we're breaking through the multi-day. Once the column breakout, VWAP breakout loads, it gives you, it will tag you what it is. Currently, the charts are a bit slow because it's calculating my VWAP offsets over 30 days. So that's why the chart is a bit slower right now. If you'd have a 1 minute, 1 day chart up, it will be populated much faster. So BMY right now just crossed the multi-day. Visa over here was tagged. So Visa actually just crossed both the multi-day and the VWAP. So it's been one bar behind because the scanners take between 3 and 7 minutes to refresh. So the best time to have it is when they do refresh and you look at the tags. So LYG over here for the reversals, cross the 1 minute. Well, I would not trade this one, but it still gave you a warning. And this one has been under VWAP for 94% of the day.
Are you filtering based on volume?
I think it's like
Yeah.
500K or so.
Okay, yeah. That
1
way you don't
million.
get penny stocks that just shopping around VWAP all day or something.
Correct. So the reversals, I have it at 1 million. You can set it to whatever you want. You can even set the price basis also. I didn't put the price. I only used the volume for reversals. For the breakouts, I have $5 minimum and 500K volume. Most of these settings are found in the Google Slides associated to each package. So in the coder contact script price list, there's a bunch of Google Docs for each package that tells you what comes with it and what are the settings are. If there's no settings, usually it's in the installation section at the end of the slides. It will be populated. As you can see over here, we have some daily technicals. So PS is crossing the morning lows and has recently crossed also VWAP. So on the chart we see the morning lows. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, which is this green line over here. We see the price just cross that one and VWAP. So this column is good to see as well. Red, okay, so we actually have some red lines, some red tags in volume over here. So we're expecting 10 million today in volume median, and we're only at 6 million. So by the end of the day, we should not be hitting 10 million. So that's why it's red. The color is based on the volume up to that day. So if we're half day done, it will calculate the volume for the half day and consider it, expand that volume to the whole day. And if we're above that, it'll be green. If we're not going to reach it, it's going to pop up as red. The main one minor issue that could be seen with this is that because the morning has so much more volume than the rest of the day, it might slightly offset and be slightly more greenish. You'll see it more green than red because of the morning volume, and it's using that morning spike into the volume average. The daily technicals. So those are the horizontal lines that you have on the chart. I'm not showing the brown ones, which are the pre-market highs and lows. The extended session data, the VWAP offsets are all based on normal trading days.
You done any kind of like strategy testing or back testing any strategies based on your scan?
Yes, I have. Well, back testing is a bit harder, but I've done day testing for the scanners. I've tested all the scanners to confirm that they are working as expected. Okay, so you can see the two brown lines over here. Those are the pre-market highs and lows. So the lowest one will pop the brown one, and the highest one will pop the brown one too. Here we had a few tags of them, so we can find another. So here Microsoft has one spiked on the low, and that's where the brown one was generated for the low. So the daily technicals are those lines. There's the 3 lines for open, morning high, morning low. Yesterday's high and yesterday's low are in purple. The one for Microsoft is on the same level as another one. So let's change stocks. Okay, so Apple, you see over here the highs and lows of yesterday extend all the way back to the previous day. So you can see the high of the previous day, that's the one where the high line was generated and the low line was generated too. The open session, the extended sessions are the brown ones, and they show the whole session. The 3 green ones are today's morning high, morning low, and open, and they're populated on today's chart. And yesterday's close is populated on the whole day yesterday.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
The VWAP breakouts and reversals, mostly scan lists. The only chart indicator is the little tag on top that tells you how much it is above VWAP the whole day. So the volume breakouts, that would include the scan lists, the earnings lists, pre-market, after-market, past few days, and the IPO highest list. The VWAP breakouts, which are all the VWAP breakout, VWAP reversals, VWAP positive, negative, and the column, and the daily technicals, which populate all these lines, horizontal lines, and you get this column too, the daily technicals, that tells you when something is crossing one of them, and the scan lists.
Those are all your different time frame VWAPs there?
Yeah.
It's based on days?
This is based on today and has extended session on it. That is customizable. If you don't want to include your pre-market data into your VWAPs, you can just uncheck it. So by default, so you have this little tag X next to the timer frame, and that tells you if it includes the extended market or not. So people who trade the VWAP starting at midnight, then you keep it on. People who trade only 9:30 VWAPs would check it off. I do have an indicator that shows both VWAPs, and most people tend to take the VWAP breakout package and the VWAP indicators. This one is what most people take. You see the blue line over here, that's the VWAP from this morning, and the red one right under the shade of the red is the VWAP starting from 9:30 this morning. So this gives you both VWAPs.
Okay, creates like a little cloud between the two.
Correct. It tells you if we're it just gives you the scale difference. Most of the time they're one above the other. I prefer the 9:30 VWAP personally because that's the one that most of people and institutions use. They don't use a pre-market. There's going to be more of a difference depending on the volume in the morning. So the greater the volume in the morning, the greater the difference between the two VWAPs.
If you get some major event happens like pre-market or aftermarket where a lot of volume comes in, like earnings reports or something like that, will that create a bigger gap between the two?
Yes. If the morning VWAP is underneath, then it's red. If it's above, then it's green. So this one had lots of volume in the pre-market, you can see Mara has a lot of shade between the two VWAPs.
Oh yeah, I see that there.
The orange line, that's the hourly VWAP. So the intraday 60 bar VWAP, and the red over here is the 15-minute VWAP.
Okay, so yours is set to 15, you said?
Yeah, it's just a set default. I never use these personally, but when I sell the package, I put them on because I know that people want. So this is the real VWAP in orange over here.
What's the dash line you have on the bottom there?
These are the deviations.
That one right there.
Yeah, this is the -1 VWAP deviation, the -2 VWAP deviation. Those are given by TOS. I didn't.
Okay, yeah, well, it's just regular deviation.
Yeah, I just recoded it inside of my indicator. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.